What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we're going to be rocking it with another mock draft. Of course, you guys love mock drafts. Like, comment, subscribe, join the community because I do this stuff almost every single day. You guys like draft content, this is the place to be. And we got expansions coming up soon because obviously you don't want the same thing wish-washy all over again. We have a 2023 mock being built right now. Because it's not on a mock draft simulator and I wanted to be a little bit more special, I am designing each slide myself. So you guys can stick through and enjoy that when it comes out, hopefully within the next couple of days. Hint, hint. This is going to be a 3-round mock draft over the next couple of days. Of course, there could be some videos in there to interrupt the progress to give you guys some fresh content. But without further ado, let's kick this off. Of course, if you guys want to discuss anything, you got the comment section below. You got all the links down there, Discord, Twitter, as well as Instagram. DM me, all those places. Join the Discord community because it's booming, unlike AB. Let's start off this draft with the number 1 pick. We are with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and since it's been a little bit since I've given my little spiel on who should be number 1, we got 2 contenders. We got Aidan Hutchinson. We got Evan Neal. Those 2 are the clear-cut top 2. And people want to say KT is. I respect that, but there's just KT has a higher ceiling, but is much more inconsistent. So again, it's just really up to your preference right there. I will say Aidan Hutchinson is a phenomenal player. I think he's going to be Trey Hendrickson plus, like plus. So somebody who's very dominant, has just that real knack. It's kind of like a worse version of Nick Bosa. It's the in-between between Hendrickson and Bosa. I think that's a good way to estimate Aidan Hutchinson's normal floor value. Now, he could develop into a Bosa. He could. He has some incredible reps. Guy's phenomenal. But he also could just be Trey Hendrickson, which is still very solid, but probably not worth the number 1 pick. Again, all these players have a much lower floor than a ceiling, right? That's the whole entire point of the top guys of this draft, is that you're drafting them for potential as well. Evan Neal, on the other hand, you look at him, he's 345 pounds. When he's thin, he has uber athleticism. The guy did something like a 40-inch split squat jump on a box. Like he straight up went like that. There's a picture of it online. You guys look that up. It's incredible, right? Absolutely incredible. Evan Neal's phenomenal. That's the bottom line. Evan Neal's absolutely dominant. And for people who want to say Ekwonu or Charles Cross is the number 1 tackle in this draft, just don't listen to him. And here's the reason why. Ekem has insane power, right? He has just incredible blocking power with his upper body and lower. Phenomenal. But something that is a very consistent theme with all of these tackles is that they hold. They hold often. Like Tyler Smith, left tackle out of Tulsa, coming out in this draft, probably going to be a guard. Held, I think, on like 6 plays out of like the 50 in one game. And he is my number 31 player or 32 player in the draft as a guard, of course. Just players like that are risky in the NFL because if you hold all the time, that's just going to be continually flagged. And that's just going to be a total no-go zone when you face better talent. Evan Neal has worse control than guys like Ekwonu, Charles Cross, Tyler Smith. But he does something that they don't, which means he doesn't hold. That's incredible to me. Like the fact that he continues refiring his hands, uses his full length, needs to work on his balance a little bit more. That was my issue with Penei Sewell last year. It's a similar thing with Evan. Just as long as he works on his weight distribution, I think this guy will be as good as Rashawn Slater. And I have him like pre-draft rankings. I have Penei Sewell, Evan Neal, Rashawn Slater. It goes in that order. And I really like Rashawn Slater too. So Evan Neal to me is the dream pick here. And here's the big reason why. Now, after looking at the next year's class, if I feel even more validated in this, you look at this, it's Evan Neal, Ekem, and Charles. Those are the guys who I think are day 1 starters. I'm not a fan really of Trevor Penning being a starter day 1. He has a lot to grow. Nicholas Petit-Ferrer has a lot of holes in his game, but he might be the next pro-ready one. Daniel Falele, he's a right tackle anyways, but still not ready at all. Bernard Raymond needs time to develop. All these guys are not going to be worth early 2. Versus you got right here, you might be lucky and get Jermaine Johnson, Myjai Sanders, Worst case scenario, you get Josh Pascal to play a 3-4 defensive end, right? And that guy is dominant on his high end plays. So shout out to, I forgot who mentioned Josh Pascal. I wasn't that impressed with him until he went to the interior. When he was a 3-4 defensive end, that guy is dominant. Kingsley Nagbare, or Nagbari, I don't know actually how to say it for once. Arnold Ebiketie, Boye Mafe, Sam Williams. These guys are incredible. That's what I'm trying to get at. These guys are incredible. And here's the issue. I talked about how there's a big drop after the top 3. Next year's class might not have somebody who's worth a mid-first. Right now, from the preseason rankings, especially around the draft community, there is not somebody who is a solidified top 15 talent at the tackle position. That's very bad. That's a very bad sign. So if I'm the Jaguars, it's like not, oh, I'm going to take a shot on Bernard Raymond. I need to guarantee that I get somebody who's a freaking beast, and that's Evan Neal. Worst case scenario, if he ends up being all right, you can trade him for 2 firsts like Laramie Tunsil, and he'll develop into the beast he is. Just that's my reasoning. Again, of course, next year, if you do suck again, you get Will Anderson. So I don't think that's a bad trade-off. Evan Neal's an absolute stud, though. I love him, and protect Trevor Lawrence at all costs. Number 2 for the Detroit Lions. Again, we're keeping Aidan Hutchinson in Michigan. We don't need to talk about that at all. Just an absolute mauler of a man who, again, I said he's kind of like that hybrid between Trey Hendrickson and Nick Bosa. Just one of those dominant players who will be pretty damn good every single year. Will he reach 15 sacks? Maybe not, but 15 sacks in the season, that is. But I think that he can consistently get 8 sacks or more. I think that's someone that you keep on your roster for a very long time. And especially in a division where, the Vikings have actually improved their line quite a bit, but the Packers, their offensive line, obviously, if Bakhtiari's healthy, it's a little bit better, but you guys know the drill. And then, of course, the Bears, it's the Bears. So, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there. For the Texans, now I know how many times y'all are trying to get me to go Ekwonu, Charles Cross at this pick. It's honestly a pretty logical thing to do. KT is here, though. It's impossible to pass on KT, though. It is. But again, if you do want to use that same logic with Evan Neal, this could be Ekwonu. It could be. And under the situation that they ship off Laramie Tunsil, because again, that's still in the news, this wouldn't be a bad selection at all. Again, you take a chance on someone like Ekem, who has extreme power, and you're able to get maybe a couple firsts for Laramie Tunsil. That could totally revamp this franchise. Like, I think of a team like the Giants that could have sent their 2 firsts this in the top 10 to get Laramie Tunsil. I honestly don't think that's a bad idea. I really don't. But this would make sense. So Ekwonu does make sense here. I get it. I will just say I am not 100% on board with it. Because again, you have Kayvon Thibodeaux here, who's an absolute beast. But let's change it up a little bit. Also, after looking at next year's class, I'm scared shitless. So I'm definitely going to be drafting an offensive tackle here. Ekwonu, Sarah McCoy, shout out to my resident Texans fan in the comment section below, is going to be loving this. We're going to be going offensive line here. Again, Titus Howard is not the answer at right tackle. Even if he has a couple of good games here and there, you take the guy with the most upside here, Ekwonu. Also, I'm pretty sure Titus Howard can play guard. So, again, Ekem could also, for a short period of time until he succeeds, Titus Howard, who I don't think is going to get a contract extension. So I think in the end, it works out perfectly fine. Wherever you want to put these guys to develop them, I think you will find a winning recipe. For the Jets, this is going to be Kayvon Thibodeaux all the way. He will be a top 5 pick regardless. And I think that going KT here makes a lot of sense. Again, a guy who is unbelievably talented. Again, shout out to Oaks Christian, but the guy is just unbelievable on his high-end plays. If he goes number 1, I wouldn't be surprised. He will go in the top 4. He will. There's no doubt in my mind. It just really depends on who wants who. And again, with the Jets, you could have went after offensive tackle, let him fall there, and then gotten another really good edge player later, right? That's true. And some teams might see that. But these 2 guys are in their own class, along with Karloftis. Karloftis deserves some respect, but they're in a class of their own. They are. The high-end ceiling is just ridiculous. Karloftis is similar to Aidan Hutchinson with a little bit lower of a ceiling, just a guy who's absolutely dominant, and I love him to death. We'll talk about him when we get there. But the Giants are here. You absolutely need offensive line. And the problem is, I think the Panthers are going to be taking a tackle if you don't here. So we're going to be going Charles Cross. I do think we see 3 tackles in the top 5. I do. And I think the Giants are going to realize that they desperately need offensive line help. And this is the spot that they're going to go. Now, for the Panthers, I could definitely see them going after offensive line here as well with Tyler Linderbaum. I will just say, I do think quarterback's going to be the pick. Now, is that the right move for the franchise? Maybe. If they go Sam Howell, I think it could be, for sure. Keep him in the Carolinas. You could also go Kenny Pickett, who is going to be probably most people's QB1, especially for the NFL. Not my QB1, but still a very talented quarterback. Has some scrambling issues. There are things that you can tweak in his game, and in time, he could develop into a very good quarterback. I comp him to Derek Carr, and Derek Carr is the style of quarterback that this team could really use. So if that's what's going to happen, I think it's a good spot. And I think it's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go back to the Kenny Pickett train out of Pittsburgh here. I think it's just the right move. It's the right thing to do. So Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh is the right move right here. And the Giants sitting at this spot, again, you got guys like Stingley falling and stuff, but I think you have to go Karloftis. You do. Your defensive front is a little bit weaker without BJ Hill. Yes, you could use someone who could rush this from the outside, but I think Karloftis offers way too much value, and he's ready right now. Really good in the run stuffing game. He's just going to be dominant overall. And the fact that he can play inside or outside means that he works with multiple packages. I don't think people are hyping up George Karloftis as much as they should. Even though he's number 7 on TDN's rank, I don't always see him this high. And the guy is just phenomenal. So I'm going to be going George Karloftis out of Purdue. Number 8 for the Falcons. I can see this being a trade back spot with a team that wants Derek Stingley. Honestly, I straight up feel it. But you also have Kyle Hamilton on the board. He's falling, and the fall stops. This team definitely could use one more defensive back, and Kyle Hamilton is a god. I love him to death. So we're going to be taking him here. Yeah, he could have went to the Giants, but again, you have multiple safeties there. Even if one of them's up on a contract year, your defensive secondary is the last thing you really need to repair. So you're still getting excellent value at positions of big ass need that outranks somebody who will play a good role, but not add to your team as much as you would hope to. So Kyle Hamilton stops falling there, who is my number 3 player in the draft. I do love Kyle Hamilton to death. Number 9 for the Broncos. So this is a team that can use 3 positions. It can use a boundary corner like Derek Stingley. It can use a quarterback, Sam Howell. It could also use an edge player, David Ojabo, Travon Walker, Jermaine Johnson. I don't think Jermaine's going to go this high, but I would have him on top 10 radar. I would. I think the guy's phenomenal. So there's multiple routes that you can go. And I do like all of them. I do. I have Sam Howell as my QB1. I think he fits this team perfectly. You'd pair him up with Javonte Williams. That'd be a good start. You could also just go the cornerback route and get Derek Stingley. This could be the free agent destination, right? The Broncos could just say, you know what? We have a good team. Let's land a free agent quarterback. You look at Derek Carr, might want to go and get some money. I honestly think Derek Carr would be good on this team. I do. If he wants to go and just get revenge on the Raiders for kind of just screwing him over, this could be a good team to go to. And for that, I might want to get a developmental quarterback later in the first or get a guy like Carson Strong. And I think that's okay. I think that's what's going to happen. And you know what? We're going to pull the Derek Stingley going next to Patrick Surtain move. Again, you go best player available where you can, and you're not going to allow him to fall any further. We're going to have some fun here. Derek Stingley Jr. going to the Broncos. Yes. Is he the best cornerback? Maybe not, but he has by far the highest ceiling in the class. The guy's an absolute stud. I love him. So go Derek Stingley Jr. here. Number 10 for the Jets. This is a battle between Tyler Linderbaum and Kenyon Green, and both of them deserve their love in their own right. Kenyon Green is a better left tackle than guard. He can still play guard, but I think that his value is at a tackle position. Tyler Linderbaum is a top 5 player to me, by a long shot, graded number 3 in the draft right now. So I think that going Tyler Linderbaum is a good option. We went one defensive line spot. Let's go offensive line as well. Switching up what we do normally, I think it's a good spot. You have AVT, Tyler Linderbaum, Mekhi Becton. That is the way to go. You're building your line for success. You're helping out Zach Wilson. You're doing everything that you need to do for your franchise. Number 11 for Washington. I got to be on Sauce Gardner watch here. The guy is an absolute beast. Also, he's going next. If you guys have any doubt that he's going to be continuing to fall, no, not a chance. By the way, I do this all live. So I'm not going to try to I'm not trying to add drama. I'm trying to just show you my thought process. I think Sam Howell's a perfect fit here. It's him or Malik Willis. And this team needs someone who can play right now. Malik Willis could be that breed, especially since we've seen what Josh Allen could be. I comped him to a rookie version of Josh Allen, and that's still pretty solid, but definitely needs some refinement. I think Sam Howell is getting underrated by everybody. And they went after his receiver, Dyami Brown, maybe because they felt like this would be the draft they get Sam Howell. And I think it could be. It's going to elevate that 3rd or 4th round pick of Dyami Brown. And then it's going to add a new mobile component to this team that has power. Yes, Taylor Heineke had his scrambling ability. Sam Howell actually can run like a freaking running back. He's 220 pounds. So I love Sam Howell. I think he's great. And the fact that people are just throwing him off because he lost his top 4 weapons and has 1 left, that just doesn't seem to add up in my head. His offensive line's not good. His offensive line's going to be better here. So I think this is the right move. I think it is. Sam Howell out of North Carolina. And honestly, if you want Malik Willis, I totally understand that. Again, he's my QB2. And again, factoring in upside, he certainly could be QB1. But again, Sam Howell, you have that Dyami Brown connection. We're going to go with it. Number 12, this is going to be Sauce Gardner all day, every day. You can't pass on him any further. This guy is probably going to be cornerback 1 for me in the future. So I've loved him since day 1. I think he was the number 12 overall pick in my first mock draft that I did for this year. So yeah, I've got to say, I've been in a Sauce Gardner OG. I know how big of an impact he has on the field. The guy is just on another level. Big fan of Sauce Gardner. Number 13 with the Browns. We have not seen any trades yet. This could be the spot for it. You have excellent edge players. You have excellent corners. You have excellent offensive linemen and receivers too. This is a team that could be moving back to be able to select a receiver. Like Garrett Wilson's on the board, and it's probably going to be the pick. I will just say that Garrett Wilson might fall solely because he doesn't test as well as he should. Then again, you have people like Antonio Brown who didn't test out of the world, right? Like players who don't test in the in the high 4.4s or like the low 4.4s and the high 4.3s, they still can make a big impact in the NFL, right? Especially given how Anthony Schwartz is on this team. I'm talking myself back into it. Let's go Garrett Wilson here out of the Ohio State University. Number 14, you got the Ravens. And the logical move here is to pair up an edge rusher that you love, Odafe Owe, who's young, developmental, but still producing at a very high level, with a guy who he's very comfortable with, who is also developmental. You have a track record of doing it. It's time to continue that record. David Ojabo, Michigan. Yeah. That it just makes total sense. Like when you look at it, it's almost too much sense to where it's kind of weirdly off-putting to see David Ojabo, when the logic is too right, it feels like it's not going to be the pick. Like you just think about it, but the Ravens are the most logical team, right? You think about it every year. They're the guys who take the best player available for them. And it was like Patrick Queen. You looked at like James Prochet, Devin Duvernay. Like at the point of the draft, they always choose the guy who we think is best for them. And a lot of times it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. Receivers, I'm going to hold back my opinion on why the receivers aren't performing as well as they should. But I think that they do a phenomenal job maximizing their value for their team. And that's hard to say as a Steelers fan, but as a draft fan, as a players fan, gotta love the lag. I think that it's phenomenal. I do. So cheers to the Ravens for doing that. Number 15 for the Eagles. So the Eagles, we have a lot of routes that we can go. Corner to start out, certainly something I want to target. I think the second round could be perfectly fine for that. Linebacker, yes, I totally agree. However, we have not drafted a first round linebacker since 85. So again, I have what I would do a mock draft. That's already up. So you guys can check that out. But I think Devin, Lloyd, Nakobe Dean makes total sense here. Maybe not realistically. But then again, you also can go edge here. You got Travon Walker, Jermaine Johnson. Both these guys are phenomenal players. Like, I'm probably going to draft Jermaine Johnson to this team. Just going to be a heads up. I think he's going to be the next pick. But like, there's just so many routes to go. You could even go after someone like Treylon Burks, who could add a big aspect to this team. Because I think this is the thing. You think about Howie Roseman, right? What does he do? He likes to have big players, like big play threats. And that's not all defense. He's not going to spend his 3 first-round picks on positions that he doesn't have passion for. Now, some of them definitely will be. You think about safety. By the way, I think that I'm just going to give a heads up. Jaquan Brisker is probably going to be the 19th pick. We might trade back and get him, but it's just a heads up. It's probably going to be the third first-round pick. So Jaquan Brisker is probably going to be the guy for this team because strong safety is a huge issue. Corner, again, it's a deep ass class. So you could definitely get someone even like Marcus Jones or Kobe Bryant in the second and be perfectly fine. Edge, it's similar, but I think that's a lot more of an Eagles move. I think it is. So we're actually going to go, Jermaine Johnson for this team. Travon Walker might be the better bet, but I love Jermaine Johnson so much that it's almost impossible to pass on him. So I think this is what we are going to do. We're going to go Jermaine Johnson here out of Florida State, who is my edge 4. I have him above David Ojabo, so don't at me. I love him. That being said, the distance between Jermaine Johnson, Travon Walker, and David Ojabo is so slim. Also included in there, Ebiketie, Nagbear, as well as Myjai Sanders. You can choose whoever the fuck you want. So I think that's perfectly fine. Number 16 for the Eagles. This is going to be a unique player. I've never drafted for them, but the idea of Deebo Samuel might have just raised the value of this player so much that they're going to be jumping players like Jameson Williams, which I think Quez fits the Jameson role well enough. Chris Olave, which I think Devontae fits well enough. Jahan Dotson, who is a unique player. Drake London's a guy who I would definitely consider. But Treylon Burks seems like a guy Howie is going to be like, damn, I missed on DK Metcalf. And you see how good Deebo is now. Treylon Burks at about he's 225 at 6'3". Yeah. He offers a shit ton to this team. And he's a perfect fit. You need a big wide receiver, right? So all these guys who keep drafting Jameson Williams or Chris Olave, you're not realizing that you have them already. Maybe you could say that Quez is worse than Jameson Williams. I respect that. And I think that's true. But he still fits that role. And you're kind of making too many cooks in the same kitchen. And then Chris Olave is a worse version of Devontae Smith. So there's no reason to get either of those guys. Treylon Burks offers something new and something this team is needed. So yeah, I love it. Treylon Burks, Jermaine Johnson, new picks for the Eagles. It's always fun to get new picks. Leaving the Chargers on the board, edge is a huge need, but so is right tackle and right guard. Okay. Like, I don't think people stress it enough. And I think Kenyon Green, as his value as a tackle, is certainly worth this pick. And he's going to be the heir apparent to Brian Bulaga. And I think that his value as a right guard in the short term is going to be good enough to pay off since he's going to be a right tackle in the long run. Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M, graded as a first-round tackle for me, an early second guard. Yes, I'm 100% doing that. I'm 100% investing in my team right there. Let's take a quick look at what's going on here. So when we look at everything that's going on here, the guys who are still available, you got Booth, you got some great corners on the board. I think this will happen. I think the value of corner being taken is not going to be that high because guys like Kyler Gordon are going to be there maybe in the late first, early second. Kyer Elam, Trent McDuffie, Tariq Wool, and Martin Emerson. These guys who actually have a shit ton of talent. Marcus Jones. I can't stress enough. I love Marcus Jones. Kobe Bryant. These guys have so much potential that you're getting in the second round that it's a lot better than, no disrespect to Cam Thomas, who is still really good. Could go in the first. Logan Hall, still really good. the value is a little bit better. I think it is. And especially at wide receiver and offensive line, the value's a lot better. But this is what I've wanted to talk about. Number 18, the Saints. Sean Payton stepped down today. That is very intriguing. And I'm forgetting the name, but I think the offensive coordinator for the team, I'm forgetting who it is. I saw a video of him just like shoving around Sean Payton and stuff. And the guy is energetic as all get go. Bottom line, he loves Jameis Winston. So I think Jameis is going to be the guy next year. I do. I don't think Sean Payton saw a future where it was going to be a winning future. And I think it was time for him to step down and spend time with his family. And I respect that. And I want the best for Sean Payton. It sucks because you're seeing these generational talents, even at the coaching position, start to drift away. Like Bill Belichick doesn't have another 30 years left in him. And it sucks. It hurts to see like the guys you've envied your entire life, these guys who have been absolute all-stars since you were born, they're starting to go away. Not since you were born, but since you were like a kid, since you were a teenager, since you were in your early 20s for some of you, they're going away. These guys who have been a big part of your football life are going away. It sucks, but I'm glad to see that the energy is still there. And with New Orleans, especially if they promote that OC, I'm pretty sure he was the offensive coordinator. I think this team has a future. I think it does. And I think it's a bright one. That one's going to start with getting Jameson Williams out of Alabama. He will be back. Everybody, like freaking Cam Akers back in July, tears his Achilles. He comes in and runs 95 yards, right? Like this guy makes an impact. Granted, fumbles, but we'll get that. That has nothing to do with his Achilles. Jameson Williams will be perfectly fine. And I don't think the hype is not there anymore. The guy's going to be good. And people saying he's going to be in the second round, that is smoke screens for teams to be like, yes, please continue falling. Like teams like even New England, where they don't stretch the ball that much, I'm sure they would want him. So I think that's a good spot to go. Again, Eagles fans, if it were me in what I would do mock draft, I'd go edge, a linebacker, and safety. Because again, I think corner is really good in this class. Granted, I'm going to be doing two of those things, but wide receiver was something that I think that's a Howie move. That's a way to appease Howie to allow him to go after a safety here. Because when you look at it, safety is a huge issue, right? I'm pretty sure Anthony Harris hasn't been that impressive. Regardless, he's not going to come back. I don't think he is. Corner is a huge issue. Again, we have a second round pick for that, as well as I'm pretty sure we can get corners as well. This is also a really good free agent corner class. I'll just put that out there. I think that's either Jaquan Brisker or else it's going to be Roger McCreary here. Trey McDuffie is another really good one that you can get probably in the second round. Linebacker-wise, again, these guys are phenomenal. I think Nakobe's size and Devin Lloyd's non-speciality is going to kind of pin him in a certain area that might not be the best for his draft stock. Also, the value of linebacker in this class is insane. I mean, look at this. You got Leo Chenal. Let's skip over the two guys who I absolutely love here. Leo Chenal, JoJo Doman. Like, those guys are both high-end linebackers. They should have honestly returned. Like, Leo Chenal should have returned. The guy's a redshirt sophomore, and he would have been a top linebacker next year. Came out. That's how good this class is. You get Leo Chenal in the third. Like, yes, sign me up for that. What are you going to get in the second at safety? Jaquan's going to be gone. Lewis Seen's going to be gone. Daxton's a slot corner, which you know you just got Zach McPherson. There's nothing. Jaquan Brisker is literally an Eagle. And worst case scenario, you could use him in linebacker as a sub-package linebacker. The guy's great. So we're going to go Jaquan Brisker here out of Penn State. Steelers are on the board. And it's offensive line, which I'm not a fan of anybody else on the offensive line. Corner, which I could see Roger McCreary being a pick here. Or quarterback. Carson Strong for the Steelers in the second wouldn't be a terrible idea, especially if you maximize your value in the first. That being said, I don't think they do it. And I think the value of Malik Willis is going to be good enough. We're going to go Malik Willis out of Liberty here. I think that Tomlin can develop quarterback talents a lot better than other dudes. And this is a team that does need a couple of years to develop before they're back. Really, I hate when it lags. It's like the worst thing ever. But Malik Willis offers so much potential for this squad. He is athletic as all get go. He has one hell of a motor. He has a crap offensive line as it is. So when you add in a running back that can take the pressure off, when you add in a good enough wide receiver core, when you add in a stellar defense in the pass rush, you offer so much more to Malik Willis than he's already had. And I think Mike's going to like that. Matt Corral's certainly a guy for it. Again, Carson Strong, you make some very good points. You can go corner here. You can get Carson Strong in the second. I get that. Malik Willis is special, though, especially the way he ended off his college career perfectly against that Eastern Michigan game, I think. The guy just aired it out and did perfectly. So I love what Malik Willis is doing. He's training with quarterback coaches to get his mechanics down. That was my biggest knock on him, is that in decision-making, and that will come with time with a good offensive scheme and good weapons. I think Malik Willis could be the best quarterback in the class. Again, he was my QB1 for a very long time. He's barely QB2. 21 with the Patriots. This is going to be Devin Lloyd out of Utah. Again, you're looking at wide receiver. I certainly would agree. Probably would go after that. But like, because Drake London's there. But I think Devin Lloyd, the value is starting to get a little bit ridiculous because Nakobe Dean's great. And I think he will be going to some of these teams very soon. But Devin Lloyd out of Utah is he's just too good, right? He's perfect for what the Patriots are looking for. You're looking for an all-around linebacker that can literally work his tail off and do everything. He has props from his coach as the best guy he's ever coached. So this is probably the latest I'll see him go, unless age or testing gets in the way. So I think Devin Lloyd is phenomenal. He's going to be your Dante Hightower replacement and continue rolling with it. For the Raiders, yes, we're seeing guys like DeMarvin Leal fall. I wouldn't be surprised to see him continue to fall. I am going to be going a corner here, and that's going to be Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson. They went after Trayvon Mullen years ago. I think Andrew Booth provides so much potential, and this is a team that could definitely use somebody because Casey Hayward's up for a contract, as well as he's getting old, near retirement age. Andrew Booth Jr., lock him in. 23 for the Cardinals. I think an interior defensive lineman like DeMarvin Leal, who can play at a 3-4 defensive end, a 4-3 defensive tackle, whichever package you want to run, this guy can play it. And I think if you want to put him outside, that works as well. Get his ass in shape, and then he might rise up my board again. DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. Yeah, I don't think that it's a lock to see DeMarvin Leal go in the first. And that's a hot take, but he provides a lot of talent. With the Cowboys on the board, again, you have Travon Walker here. It's another guy you could have factored in, but DeMarvin Leal might offer a little bit more since you're looking for someone specifically inside. This is going to be Nakobe Dean. I think that Mike is going to take more of an edge role, like an edge linebacker hybrid, and you're still looking for somebody to be what Jalen Smith was supposed to be and what LVE is supposed to be doing. And that's to be a dominant fucking linebacker. Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. It's just another splash player where that's going to get you over the hump. Number 25 for the Bills. Let's just check all the board again to see who's still here. Quarterback-wise, you got Matt Corral. You got teams that should probably be trying to trade up for that. You got running backs that they're never going to go here. You got Drake London, who's an absolute stud. I love him. Trey McBride's the only guy who would be a factor here. You got some offensive linemen. Tyler Smith certainly should be going around this range if he is a true guard. Just the guy's insane. Jordan Davis, probably going to be the pick. Again, just getting a real big run stuffer for you because people are just set on it. They are. They really are. That being said, I don't really care what other people want. Jordan Davis definitely could be a guy who'd be great for the Bills, but I think you need something a little bit more important, a second corner. You had the number one defense and it just got carved apart, right? Roger McCreary is an absolute stud. I love him. Zone man, you name it. This guy's going to be a great fit for your team. The corners, you could get some great value later on. I'm not going to take a chance on it. I'm going Roger McCreary here out of Auburn. Number 26 with the Titans. I'm getting a guy who could play in the slot or outside. I don't care. I'm going Drake London out of USC. Chris Olave is falling. That's okay. That's okay. No disrespect to him. I love him. I do. It's just the way the draft fell. Drake London, 6'5", 210, 215 pounds, depending on, you could say, he might be, let's just say 210. He is pretty thin. A guy who you could definitely add to your roster. Certainly a team that could be the Matt Corral race. I don't think so, but certainly one that could be doing that. Tampa Bay. So let's just take another look. You got some corners still on the board. You could go after someone like Daxton Hill. You could look at Travon Walker as another edge rusher. And I think a team should be moving up for Travon because I don't think Tampa Bay really wants somebody to give Green Bay, their rival, an edge rusher of that talent. So that being said, let's try to find a team that needs an edge rusher. Holy shit. I'm not going to lie. I did not plan this out at all. I promise to you guys. Yeah, Jacksonville's going to be moving up here. Yeah, they're going to be moving up really quick. I was already clicked on AFC. I was looking at NFC for the Buccaneers. We're going to be making a micro trade here. We're going to be offering a third round pick, and we're going to be trading back that fifth. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll go for next year fifth. See what happens. The Bucs accepted the offer, and hot damn, this is going to be a steal. Travon Walker going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Could play outside, could play inside. Both ways, he is worth a first-round pick. I love him to death. Do not think I'm disrespecting him because he is extremely high on my board. Makes total sense to keep him out of the Packers' hands. Jacksonville rejoices. Number 26 with the Packers. Now, that is disappointing. That being said, there's still some amazing talents on the board, right? You still could go wide receiver. You could also go edge. I think Kingsley and Nagbear could be an excellent option. Chris Olave is on the board. I think you need another good separator. I think that's just the perfect fit. Finally, it's time to say, hey, let's do the right thing for our quarterback, Chris Olave. Number 29 for the Bengals. Again, offensive line, you do need a day one starter, guys. You do. You could go after Tyler Smith, which is, again, a tackle that is probably going to be a guard at the NFL. But, again, you do have more of a pocket-style quarterback. Joe's not going to be – he's not the guy – he's not Lamar Jackson, right? You can use more of a stable pocket. Tyler Smith might be pretty damn good with that. I do think so. But that might be something I target in round 2 rather than round 1 because, again, I think that's just the better move. Unfortunately, you could go corner here as well. I think Kaiir Elam would be a good option. This is going to be where I trade back because Matt Corral is on the board, and I think he does go in the first. And there are teams like the Lions that are going to want to move up and take him. So that's one team that's trying to vie for it. Another team is the New York Giants. I think they could be in the race for Matt Corral. And it's a guy who fits them perfectly. His value is incredible. The Texans as well, but I think you give Davis Mills one more year. I think the Giants might move back up for a QB. You're going to bring back Daniel Jones one more year. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. You have a revamped offensive line, and I mean, you're already set. And at that range, you're going to be comfortable getting somebody of the caliber of Kaiir Elam. Even that's Kyler Gordon. I think that's a great fit. So, with that being said, we are going to have the New York Football freaking Giants end up because they have to pace the Eagles. Eagles are getting better with 3 first-round picks. They're doing the exact same thing. They're going to be offering their third-round pick to move up. And it's about an equidistant trade, 2 more spots back, and it's 3 more spots back. So we will ask for a hot damn. Wow. Look at that, guys. I want to see it. So that's intriguing. So we're going to offer a third and a fifth. The price is going to be heavy. How about that? The price is going to be a heavy one for this, but we're going to do it. We're going to pull that trigger all the way. Bailey Zappi could be somebody who's good to target later on, but at this point, I mean, can you not go Matt Corral at this point? I'm going Matt Corral. To the Giants, yeah, you guys have a stacked first round. Matt Corral, along with George Karloftis and Charles Cross. Yes, sign me up for that. Number 30 with the Dolphins. So getting a wide receiver 1 wouldn't be a bad idea. George Pickens is certainly on the radar for that. Offensive line, Trevor Penning, certainly on the radar. Bernard Raymond, another guy on the radar. I'm not sure if people are going to love him that much. I don't know about that. Linebacker, Christian Harris. This is about the range I could see him start to go. You don't have, when's your second round pick? Second round pick is, right before the Eagles. That's actually really far away. I totally forgot that they almost made the playoffs. So that certain linebacker is certainly something on my list, but you still probably could get like even Darian Beavers, Damone Clark, Quay Walker, Leo Chenal in the second or third. So I'm not going to solidify Christian Harris as someone who goes here, but I think he boosts his value a lot and could be a first round linebacker. I do think so. You can see Brandon Smith here as well. Wide receiver wise, dude, George Pickens, you think about it, he's the only number one left in the class. Jahan Dotson provides value as a number one producer, but needs a big. David Bell, no. Sky Moore, no. I think George Pickens might get that hype. I mean, the guy is a phenomenal athlete. I do love George Pickens. Like people will say he only got like 9 yards versus, I think he did it versus Michigan. It sounds funny, but those 9 yards were incredible. You just watch how he plays, not what he did when playing. And this guy's special. I'm going to go George Pickens here. Leaving, of course, the Lions sitting here, and we got to reevaluate the board because there's some guys who are falling, right? There are, and that's okay. So you quarterback-wise, you still have Carson Strong here, Bailey Zappi, Brock Purdy, Desmond Ridder. He's not going to go in the first. I don't know why people think he is. Corner, again, you could get someone here. Safety as well, but I think that's much more of that pick. I think that's more safe to say that I would rather go over here with Lewis Cine than in the first. I just don't think that's worth it. This is honestly tough to draft for this team at this point. I think a guard wouldn't be a bad idea with like Darian Kennard, Tyler Smith, these guys who can actually play. Linebacker might be the right move. It might be. Like Christian Harris could be the right pick here because it does kind of make sense, right? It does. You could also go Jordan Davis if you want to. I don't want to. I'm just gonna be frank. I don't want to because I know safety is such a big need for this team, and I usually get a really good linebacker at this spot. There's nobody who's really so exciting that you need to move up for him at this point. That's why I'm like saying, So honestly, a really good separator is Jahan Dotson. You just don't have a big. That's my only issue right there. You have a deep threat, you have a positionalist, and then you have a slot guy. It's going to limit your ceiling as a team. But honestly, I think that might be worth it. I think it might. We're going to go Jahan Dotson here out of Penn State. I think that might be the right move. Also takes him away from the Chiefs, who might have wanted someone like that. The Chiefs are sitting here, and they're going to be pulling a trigger on an edge all day long. I think Kingsley Enagbare makes a lot of sense for this team. He fits. He is very explosive. He has a lot to love. Again, if it's one of the others, I totally understand that. But that is the way we're going to end off the first round. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out for round 2 coming soon. See you on the far side. Peace.